our left at the
Chicago
corner of
downtown.
Michigan and Wacker, with the round windows of the third floor, is an Art Deco building from 1928. 333 North Michigan by Hollibird and Root. You will notice a number of modern and international type buildings along the river throughout the skyline, along with black box modern. These type of buildings really came to being after the Second World War and lasted the late 1970s and early 80s. You will also notice a number of postmodern buildings, and postmodern architects got sick of the stripped down variation of international and black box modern, thought it's very boring, and after a while, it kind of was. Along with paying attention to all the buildings that I do discuss, do take notice of all the bridge tender houses for the drawbridges, the Spanish Chicago River. The bridge houses are all very different and quite unique and have their own design, so take notice of them. But let's get started. So we're near Michigan Avenue, here to our right coming up, the elegant white glazed terracotta clad Wrigley building. The section on the river is from 1921, northern half 1924. Spanish revivalist design, some French Renaissance elements. It's clad with 6 different shades of white glazed terracotta, this fireproof baked clay. Those terracotta tiles get progressively lighter as the building ascends in height. That is the structure that chewing gum built, designed by Graham, Anderson, Probst, and White. Currently, the architecture firm of Perkins and Will calls that building home. The tall reflective glass building directly here in front of us with an needle-like spire on top is currently Chicago's second tallest building. The height does include the very top and tip of the spire. First International Hotel in town, a pretty good example of the contextual style. The building fits into the site and surrounding. As the structure itself ascends in height, we have setbacks at different levels that relate to the roof lines of surrounding buildings. First setback to the roof line of Wrigley. Second setback to a building across the river. Third setback to the building right next door. Now, personally in this area, I do love the color, texture, and flow of all 4 buildings side by side on the angle. Daytime hours, the glass is bright and reflective. When dark, it is clear and transparent. You can see directly in that space. You will then notice the floors 4 through 12 of the parking garage for the building. During evening hours, you can see these columns rising up behind the glass. 18 to 30 of the hotel rooms, and then to the top are condominiums. It was built between 2005 and 2009. And if you find enough change in your couch, right now the penthouse on 89 is available for mere $30 million. To our left with that dome on top, initially called the Jewelers Building, was completed in 1926, the house of large jewelry firms. That dome on top, late 30s, early 40s, was a restaurant and bar called the Stratosphere. It's also rumored that when the building first opened, there was a speakeasy in that dome on top, often visited by Al Capone. The Al Capone part is a rumor, but it's a rumor that I spread. Here to our right, the steel and glass Miesian and modernist black box was in fact designed by one of the fathers of modern and international architecture, Ludwig Mies van der Rohe, whose very famous motto was less is more, that the strip buildings down to the bare minimum. Originally, one IBM Plaza, now the American Medical Association Plaza. Mies came to Chicago from Germany back in the late 30s and became head of architecture at IIT. He designed the Seagull Building in New York City, Toronto Dominion Center in Toronto, Lafayette Park in Detroit, and the Barcelona chairs. As we near State Street, here to our right coming up, commonly referred to as being the Twin Corncob Towers, in reality we're going to have Marina City. Built between 1960 to 64 and designed by architect Bertrand Goldberg, who in fact went to Germany to study under Mies van der Rohe at a school called the Bauhaus. So in this area you're going to have teacher and student side by side. The bottom 18 floors of both buildings are parking, a proportion are condominiums. You'll notice on the balconies kind of reminds you of the petal on a flower. 16 petals per floor. The former office building in the background is now a hotel. The former theater is now the House of Blues. Small shops and restaurants on site, a marina at the base. Virtually a city within a city, an introvert's paradise. A movie came out back in